All right, welcome. This is DB talking now. DB talking birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen hurts me. If you're still in the house, welcome, my man. Happy Tuesday, my dude. So the Eagles brought back tight end Richard Rodgers. Guys, I've always liked Richard Rodgers. I think this was a good move for them, especially when it comes to tight end depth. And speaking about tight end depth, obviously there's rumors surrounding that the Titans are a realistic trade partner for Zach Ertz. You know what that means? I don't know, because honestly, I'm just tired of talking about Zach Ertz. I'm tired of him still being on this team. But what does that mean? What if Zach Ertz were to be traded to the Tennessee Titans, what could he bring to what player, if it were a player for player swap, could we bring to the Philadelphia Eagles? And there are a few positions obviously we need to look at, like cornerback is one, safety is another, kind of like we've been talking about before. But we'll just have to see. So one of our loyal subscribers, AJ Styles, was asking me questions about Trayvon Grimes. Big Play Slay, welcome to the house, my man. Happy Tuesday, dude. Was asking me about Trayvon Grimes and will he come back? My thing is this, obviously the Eagles waived him, but they put him on injured reserve. I haven't read much about his injury quite yet. Or I can't remember what it was off the top of my head right now, but I don't think it's going to be anything like season ending. I don't think that's why he's on injured reserve. So I believe he has a high chance of coming back. So I don't think that they're going to let him go. I think that they want to get another look at him before they actually let somebody else get their hands on him, and that's exactly why the Eagles were able to put him on injured reserve. So that's awesome. Tell me what you guys' thoughts are about Trayvon Grimes. Big Play Slay, what do you think we can do if we did a player-for-player swap for Zach Ertz to the Titans? What player would you be looking at, my man? Jalen Hurts me says, "Hey DB, I got a new job as a server. Thank you for your positive vibes, and we get to be servers together now." Haha. I am no longer a server, but I'm incredibly proud of you, my man, and excited for you. I'm glad that you found something. That's absolutely awesome. Congrats on your new job, my man. Congrats on your new job. You know what I mean? I'm trying to open my can here of energy. It's just a giant can of energy. Rain. Brought to you by Rain. Just kidding. But tell me what you guys' thoughts are. There's not a lot of news going on right now in the world of the NFL. I would say, I mean, look, Aaron Moorhead continues to speak about his wide receivers. And in one case, it's kind of like he's being so honest. Like he's being blatantly, like he's being blatantly, Aaron Moorhead's being blatantly honest. And I look at it as a double-edged sword. It's like you're kind of throwing some of your wide receivers under the bus, but at the same time, I like your honesty. The most recent report, I mean, obviously, like he's talked about Travis Fulgham in the past, and most recent one is Jalen Reagor. And some of, like, I'm not gonna quote it word for word, but like some of the things he was saying about Jalen Reagor is we just need to get Jalen focused on football. Okay. So if you need to get Jalen just focused on football, then what else is he focusing on? And is that the reason why he had a down year last year? Like, I understand there was the weight thing, like they wanted Jalen at like 195 or 193 or whatever it was. But now, and obviously Jalen had some injuries last year too that he had to deal with. But now it's like we need to get Jalen just focused on. So this is why I hesitate when it comes to Jalen Reagor, because he's a first round pick. And these are not things that we should be talking about when it comes to first round picks. He's not. And it's one of the reasons why, like, I worry about Devontae Smith, and I don't worry about Devontae Smith is the best wide receiver in that room, hands down. But like, is Aaron Moorhead the right guy? Like, why couldn't you keep him? Why couldn't you keep him focused last year if he was focusing on other things other than football? Like, why couldn't you make sure that he played at the right weight that you guys asked him to instead of playing at like 205? Like, what? And why was Jason Avant the one that needed to like show him things on the field that he could have done better? Like, this is like, I get it. Like, Aaron Moorhead's the first wide receivers coach that we've brought back for a consecutive year and the first time in a long time. But are we bringing back the right wide receivers coach? You know what I mean? Like, are we bringing back the right wide receivers coach? Like, if we had Mike Groh, if we still had Mike Groh and Mike Groh was still okay with being our wide receivers coach, like, I'd be fine with that because Mike Groh did phenomenal things for Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Torrey Smith, like back in 2017. And I just don't trust. Like, I'm not sold on Aaron Moorhead. Not sold on Aaron Moorhead. Jalen Hurtsby says, I don't think we'd get anyone decent if it's a player for player swap. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Unless we threw a pick in there. Which we could do if we're looking at a specific player. Let's bring up the Titans roster real quick. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Big Play Stay says Rager honestly reminds me a lot more Buffer Jeremy Maclin. I'm not ready to go there yet because Jeremy Maclin showed what he's capable of from year one. He is a lot buffer. Like, he's a stout dude. But like, I Jalen Rager reminds me, like, I wanted him to be Deebo Samuel so bad. But he reminds me more of like a Golden Tate. That's what he reminds me more of, like a Golden Tate. Gotta be honest with you. Jalen Hurtsby says, I agree. That's a red flag type comment when it comes to Aaron Moorhead saying you gotta. Yeah, I mean, like, Aaron Moorhead wasn't like an elite wide receiver either. That's the other thing too. Is like at least, I knew, like, if Jason Avant were our wide receivers coach, I would feel so much better about it. I would feel so much better about the wide receivers coach position. Jalen Hurtsby says, hey, DB, what about young cornerback Elijah Molden? What about young cornerback like Elijah Molden? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not entirely informed about Elijah Molden. I haven't really looked at him all that much. Obviously, but yeah, I mean, he might not be a bad cornerback to bring in for like depth. But that's another thing too, is like I'm kind of tired of, for ERTZ from Titans. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So like, that's a possibility. I mean, I could see that. I could see that happening. I wouldn't mind bringing Elijah Molden to the Philadelphia Eagles to compete for sure. But he's another 5'10", 5'10", like 190 pound guy, and I don't know. I guess I'm being a little. Stubborn, and just wanting what I want out of the cornerback starting opposite Darius Slay. You know what I mean? So, but we'll have to. I mean, we'll have to see what plays out. I think that if that were a trade, if they were interested in Elijah Molden, I think that could I think that could really happen. I want like 15 per hour at least, says Jalen Hurts me. Yeah, that's exactly what you should be shooting for every single time. Do the Titans have cap space even? They probably need to restructure. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like they just brought Julio Jones in, and do they even have the cap space to do it? That's a good question. Let me check that out real quick. Um also at the same time, but that's another perfect reason why it might not be so. Yeah, so the Titans have about 7 million in cap space right now. So it would be just under it would just be under the wire. The other thing to think about too is like we have not signed Landon Dickerson yet. And we need to sign Landon Dickerson to his rookie contract, and we can't do that right now because it's only like we only have about 1.5 mil. And Big Play Slay says, I wouldn't mind a fifth and Christian Fulton. Yeah, Christian Fulton would be a good guy to trade for. I like Christian Fulton a lot. And I think that he could definitely come in and compete as well. So, and again, like I think it brings back to some of the guys that we brought in here. For some reason, they're really excited about Zeke McPherson, whatever. I'm not entirely sold on him quite yet. But maybe it's just one of those things where like, I couldn't, he wasn't one of the guys that we were speaking about a lot during draft. And he's a bit undersized, so it does worry me a little bit. You know what I mean? So Jalen Hurts says, manifesting Suns versus Sixers NBA Finals. Yeah, I hope so. I really do. I really hope so. The 76ers should not have let the Hawks come back the other night. That really upset me. Jalen Hurts says, Suns NBA champs. Maybe. Suns look good, bro. Suns look really good. Jalen Hurts says, Christian Fulton or Elijah Molden would be a good project defensive back to get back in a trade. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, either one of them would be phenomenal to bring in for competition. I think that they would be definitely more than camp bodies. That's for sure. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But that's even if the Titans do trade for Zach Ertz. But imagine that team, man. Like AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, Zach Ertz. Jeez. Jalen Hurts says, I also have 1,000 saved now. I know it's not much, but I'm trying, guys. You got this, bro. Jalen Hurts says, hey, man, also thanks for always taking my questions. Appreciate the conversation, bro. Yeah, definitely, man. Always. One love. Nothing but love. Nothing but love for you, Jalen. Nothing but love for you. Nothing but love. Yeah, I mean, and the other good thing, I mean, speaking of Christian Fulton, like the other good thing about Christian Fulton is, I always like LSU defensive backs, and he's a second round guy. He's still about 22 years old, so what better to bring in? I mean, obviously, we had some success. We had some success with Jalen Mills, you know what I mean? So, and I feel really good about Jacoby Stevens. I think continuing to bring in like LSU defensive backs is a good thing for this franchise, honestly. Jalen Hurts me says, but in all honesty, it's been a really slow news day for football. Yeah, it is. It's making me kind of self-conscious because there's not much we're talking about right now. However, I do want to get, speaking of, I want to continue to talk about Aaron Moorhead. Speaking of Aaron Moorhead, he continues to praise JJ Arcega-Whiteside. And my question is this, how many excuses do we have to come up with for JJ Arcega-Whiteside? Like, I swear, like, do not if the Eagles decide to keep JJ Arcega-Whiteside over like John Hightower or Quez Watkins, I will be severely upset. I gotta be honest. Like Michael Walker, like the new wide receiver that we just brought in from the Jacksonville Jaguars, like he has shown more than the JJ Arcega-Whiteside. And I would rather like at this point, like I'd rather have Michael Walker. Like if it came down to JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Michael Walker, I would have Michael Walker. I put Michael Walker on my team, just because he can do shit on special teams as well. So like JJ Arcega-Whiteside doesn't do anything. That's my issue. That's my issue with JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Doesn't catch the ball. He catches the ball, but he doesn't get open. And he just doesn't provide much of anything. You know what I mean? Guys? Like JJ Arcega-Whiteside can like literally go blow a goat. Go blow a goat. Big names on the trade block. Yeah, like we talked about yesterday, guys, like Stephon Gilmore is still up there. Jordan Hicks, Anthony Miller. Michael Thomas apparently is on the trade block. I'm not saying we should go and trade for Michael Thomas, but if there were a way, we don't have the cap space to do that. Jalen Hurts me says Jordan Hicks all day. Yeah, I'm kind of over Jordan Hicks. I really am, honestly. Like I'm excited to see what Alex Singleton can bring to the table. You know what I mean? In year 2, as the starter with us. So and I wouldn't doubt that the Cardinals are still in play for Zach Ertz, honestly. Like I wouldn't doubt that either. Big Play Slay says, "Can we just get a fucking corner over 6 foot other than Slay? Jesus Christ." Yeah, bro. And he's borderline 6 foot. Slay is borderline 6 foot. Jalen Hurts me says, negative questions. Who on Eagles will underperform? Fletcher Cox. Cardinals be out there signing just about everyone. Yeah, they want to do all they can to get back to make that next step. You know what I mean? So but getting back to Zach Ertz real quick, like apparently Jason Kelsey was on the radio show with Hollis Thomas a couple days ago and basically said that he's optimistic that Ertz will be back. I'm not really sure. I wasn't really sure what to make of that. I mean, I don't like, I'm sure those guys talk, like those guys are good friends. And so like, I am curious as to what to make of that because if Jason Kelsey's optimistic, like Jason Kelsey is not the type of guy to just say things, you know what I mean? Like Jason Kelsey's going to tell you how he feels. And for him to say that is kind of odd, in my opinion. I would not mind having Zach Ertz back. I would not mind having Zach Ertz back. That's the thing. The only thing is that does Zach Ertz mind not starting? And I think the answer to that question is no. I mean, I think he does. I think he does mind. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys, for the lack of material today, but we're going to pull through it. We're going to pull through it. And also, like, the signing of Richard Rodgers, guys. So this is an open conversation, guys. We're just going to open it up for open conversation. But, like, also the signing of, like, Richard Rodgers doesn't really make sense for Ertz to still be on the team. You know what I mean? And they signed Jack Stoll, like, you know, so I think that they're trying to look at other options. Like, obviously, they also, even though this guy, Tyree Jackson, like, he's not going to take the second tight end spot, you know, but like, they've been trying to address the tight end position all offseason. In fact, I think Tyree Jackson was the first signing that we made after the season ended. Big play sales. Well, in hindsight, have to look in perspective that the scheme didn't fit him, and when he had minutes, he played okay. Same with Fulgham. Good minutes, he's okay. When minutes are taking the productivity goes down. Yeah. No, exactly. Are you talking about Richard Rodgers? Well, and to your point, Big Play Slay, like that goes for anybody. Oh, Big Play Slay, you're talking about J Jaw. Yeah, I mean, like, but here's the thing, like, that goes for anybody. We got to remember this, like, the Eagles wide receiver core started off last year with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside starting. You know what I mean? And on the outside, and like, it just didn't pan out. You know, I don't think he gets open, and Jason Avant pointed that out. Like, he has very stiff shoulders. Very stiff shoulders. Something's going on with my mic. It won't. It's a fucking tripod. I watched that movie last night, The Girl Next Door, and I just remember the goofy friend to Emil Hirsch says to Paul Dano, "You know why you can't leave, bro? Because we're a fucking tripod." Such a funny movie. Alicia Cuthbert, Emil Hirsch, Paul Dano, and what's his name? Big Blood State says, I agree, but anytime they give him a chance to work, they just take it away from him because there's a good amount of wide receivers on the team. Yeah, I think it's that plus, or at least that's what they did in the Doug Peterson era. I really believe. Look, if I were going to make excuses for JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and how he could fit in this upcoming season, I would say this. I would say that it's going to be up to Nick Sirianni to be able to scheme him open. And maybe you just use him. Maybe you just use your big man in the red zone, and he is that. He's a big man with a large wingspan. And we've seen him make contested catches. It's not like he hasn't made plays for us before. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of tired of waiting for JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Big Play Slay says, or is it just maybe that he entirely sucks, which I don't think is the case. He has talent, but he doesn't fit the offense that we want to work in, especially that he's so stiff and bad at the line. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, and King Miro, welcome to the house, my man. Welcome to the house, dude. Happy Tuesday. Obviously, right now we're talking about JJ Arcega-Whiteside. But I mean, if we were to make excuses for JJ, or if we were to look for ways for him to get better, I would definitely say that that's one of the key things to work on. And like according to Jason Avant, during the Q&A, or during the Quit Mickle and Jason Avant on Inside the Birds, like Jason Avant has spoken to JJ Arcega-Whiteside and has given him some things to work on. He does. He has to work on getting better at the line and in and out of his routes, and that starts with shoulder with movement of his shoulders, the stiffness in his shoulders. Like you cannot break away from a defender if your shoulders are so stiff, because that's how you're going to be able to fake those guys out. You know what I mean? J Jaw is just a bust. Should have drafted you already. Should have drafted you already. No, DK Mick. Big Play Slay says, "Let the debates begin. Free J Jaw." Look, if Nick Sirianni can free JJ Arcega-Whiteside, JJ Arcega-Whiteside has made contested catches. I've said this, and I'll say it again. Like, I've seen there is potential there, but he has to be freed up. First thing number one for wide receiver is they need to know how to get open. If there has been stiffness in J Jaw's shoulders, it's been 3 years now. That should be worked on. That should be something that he should be able to continue to do. The other thing that I cannot say, like, who knows what kind of progression he may have made last year. Carson Wentz fucking sucked. We have to remember that too. The entire team sucked. So, but there were some plays that he made with Jalen Hurts on the field as the year went on. So I just remember the one deep down the middle, inside the 15, I think it was. I don't remember which game that was. Does anybody remember which game that was? In between two defenders? We've seen that from him. That's the thing. He's one of those guys where it's like you have to throw in tight windows because he's not going to get open. So just put it above the rim. And if he sees it, I think he'll get it. But it's got to be above the rim because he's not going to be getting separation. You know what I mean? Right, and this is exactly what leads to my next point is Big Play Slay says, then why not use him as a red zone threat? Let him work in the red zone. He's a player that thrives in the intermediate of the field. I agree that he needs to work on things, but he needs a better offense. And maybe this offense that Nick Sirianni is bringing to the table is going to be conducive for JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Really, like honestly. Maybe line him up at tight end. And I agree. Like, yeah, use him as a red zone threat. Use him as a red zone threat. Do it. Imagine that. Like, if we were to free up JJ Arcega-Whiteside just a little bit, you have Fulgham and you have JJ Arcega-Whiteside on the outsides in the red zone, and then you have Devontae Smith in the slot. Just in case. You guys are making me want to play Madden right now, and I haven't played in like 2 weeks. The Washington game, he showed off that elite contested catch pass thrown from Jalen Hurts in the intermediate. That's why he thrives in, and that's the situation Nick Sirianni wants to put him in. Okay, it was the Washington game. Yeah. I figured it was either Dallas or Washington. Yeah, and when he makes those plays, and he's done at least one, he's done at least one of those plays since he's been drafted. And when he makes those, it's like, oh wow, that was amazing, man. Like I wish you could do that more. You know what I mean? And honestly, it was Alshon Jeffrey's fucking job. It was Alshon Jeffrey's fucking job to help mentor this guy along. And I like the more I think about Alshon Jeffrey's time with the Philadelphia Eagles, like I don't think he was a mentor at all. Like I think he was like a me player. Like I really do. Like I feel like Alshon Jeffrey was a me player, and you know we drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside in 2018. You know what I mean? And that's plenty of time for Alshon Jeffrey to mentor this guy. Alshon Jeffrey and him were similar players. Alshon Jeffrey doesn't get open all the time. He's smart and you know he's smart and uses what he has to his advantage. But he's made a living in the NFL by his ability to make contested catches. Everybody knows that. Same thing with JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Like show him some better some better techniques to get open. It's been 3 years, but we don't have Alshon on the team anymore, and thank God we don't, because I was absolutely done with him after 2017. Just like me, like I just didn't like him. Big Play Slay says, "Road to subs, 100 subs. Let's get there for you, DB." Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I feel like these slow news days aren't really helping me, though. That's for sure. That's for sure. Kim Hero says, "I wish we were facing the Colts this season, so before we can get our ass, so that we can get our ass killed by Carson Wentz." You know, I was thinking about that the other night, and yeah, I kind of wanted that too. I just wanted to see Jeffrey Lurie's face, you know, when Carson and the Colts rolled in and absolutely destroyed us. Like I like, because here's the thing. I'm not entirely sold that they're entirely sold on Jalen Hurts yet. Like I'm just not. I think that they're saying what they have to say, but like I think that they screwed themselves. Like I think that there's still some inklings of like, man, we let our franchise quarterback get away, because they didn't want to lose him. They didn't want to lose him. They didn't. I mean, that was admitted by High Roseman. So like, I mean, and that was like long after the fact. That was long after the fact. Like I think it was before the draft. I think it was before the draft, or during the draft, where Harry Roseman said in his press conference, like obviously, you know, we never foresaw losing our Carson Wentz, our franchise quarterback, like like. And so I think that there's a bit of like, I still think that there's some inklings there where they are not liking what the stew that they made for themselves. Big Play Slay says, Alshon, in my opinion, was just a complete dick. He only cared about himself. Yeah, bro. I agree with you. And like the few appearances that we did see him make, like, yeah, he made some great plays for Jalen Hurts, but you know, he dropped that pass from Jalen Hurts. I don't remember which game it was. Maybe it was the Saints game, and he just got up and smiled. You know what I mean? And like, he just fucking annoyed the hell out of me. And I don't. Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey can go like Is Alshon Jeffrey even on a team right now? Did he get signed by anybody? I don't remember. Big Play says you'll definitely gain more subs throughout the NFL season. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because that's how I started to actually get used to the streaming, you know. I was kind of nervous my first time fucking streaming, but like I jumped in and did like a live stream of the entire game. And I think the first one was the Green Bay game. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't the Green Bay. Maybe it was a couple weeks before Carson got benched in the Green Bay game, where I started doing live streams of the entire game. King Miro thinks that Jalen Hurts will be benched by week 3 after we get killed by the Cowboys. I'm not so sure, but like, hey, I mean, there's so many questions. There's still questions, surrounding Jalen Hurts and what he'll be able to do because we just haven't seen him do it yet. So it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. But I do believe that Nick Sirianni has a knack for finding ways to get creative with each individual player way better than Doug Peterson can. And so, like, if he's the one who can free JJ Arcega-Whiteside, I guess it wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me that JJ Arcega-Whiteside was able to be freed, but like the Nick Sirianni piece, that wouldn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying? King Miro says, yeah, I have no confidence in the Eagles this year. Yeah, like, yeah, here's the thing. I mean, who knows? Who knows what we're gonna do? I think it's gonna be huge. I mean, here's the thing. I think how Miles Sanders does is gonna be imperative to Jalen Hurts' performance and his success. Devontae Smith really needs to come in and show out. Like our rookies really need to pan out this year for everybody, for the entire organization, for each other, for Jalen Hurts, for Howie Roseman, things of that nature. So all of these things will have to. Big Play Slay says, I'll be honest, I think Jalen Hurts will be very solid this year. I'm starting to get that vibe too, honestly. Like I am. And gosh, I hope we're right. I hope we're right. And today is actually Nick Sirianni's birthday. I did not know that. So happy birthday to Nick Sirianni. Happy birthday to Nick Sirianni. Big Play says Jalen Hurts stat line 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3,700 yards. Maybe. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. That's like a Donovan type of season. I think Jalen Hurts me is better than Donovan. I think Jalen Hurts me is better than Donovan. Yes, you are. I think Jalen Hurts is better than Donovan. I think he will be better. I think he will be better than Donovan for a fact. You guys are going to jump on me about that, aren't you? Do it. Come on. I'm ready for battle. I'm ready to wage this war. Bring it. King Miro says, there's just so many questions about the Eagles, you just get nervous. Is there really? It's a good point to bring up. And yes, I do understand the point because it's kind of how we all felt. What What the hell is going on with my mic? Why is it getting so loose? Loosey goosey. There we go. Yeah, I mean, look, let's go over it, right? So, like, Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. Yeah, there are some questions there, but there's reasons to be hopeful, based off of some of the things that he did show us in those 4 games, and he did show us a lot of positive things in those 4 games, especially with that beat up offensive line. And then for example, you go to the offensive line and you get a Brandon Brooks back, you get a Lane Johnson back, you get Jason Kelsey coming back, and then you have Isaac Samalu at left guard, and then you have Jordan Mailata and Andre Dillard battling it out. Like, it's not a bad, like, if Andre Dillard beats out Jordan Mailata, then that spells good news for the offensive line. You know what I mean? Isaac Samalu is the one that I'm not sure about. I would love to see a healthy Landon Dickerson at left guard. I would love to see that. Like, that would be phenomenal. But you also have rookies from last year along the offensive line that played well. Like, you have Jack Driscoll. You know what I mean? Nate Herbig wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Jack Driscoll going into year 2, I mean, just imagine that. I would honestly love to see Jack Driscoll, because he played well. He played well at guard and tackle last year. So, like, I wish they would give Jack Driscoll a shot to compete with Isaac Samalu. Honestly, I just don't like Isaac Samalu. That's the other thing. I don't like him. And LaRaven Clark, you know what I mean? Like, we have good depth along the offensive line. We got our veterans coming back healthy. Like, does that piece of it make me nervous? Yeah, Lane Johnson makes me nervous, and Brandon Brooks makes me nervous. Just because they've been injured for the last 2 years, both of them. Yeah, those guys make me nervous, but I think that the depth keeps me hopeful. There is depth there that we do have. Big Play says, bruh. Jalen Hurts, says, Jalen Hurts, I think, will be good, but not great. That's my prediction. Oh, were you saying bruh to my Donovan comment? Yeah. And then let's continue on this. Though. And then running back room. The running back room is as solid as it's been in, like, years. Like, we have like, obviously Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Kerryon Johnson, Kenny Gainwell. Like, all of these dudes are borderline second, first string running backs. That's why. Yeah. What if he is, though, bro? What if he is? What if he is better than Donovan? Like I think that's the thing that's been missing from my streams, or at least for me anyway, is, like, I haven't been as controversial lately. Maybe I need to be more controversial. Maybe I need to start being more controversial again. I think he has the potential to be better than Donovan. I wasn't like Donovan was good, but, like, I love this debate because Donovan thinks he was the best thing since sliced bread, and he just wasn't. He wasn't the best thing since, like, he wasn't Tom Brady material. He wasn't Aaron Rodgers material. He wasn't Peyton Manning material. But yet he complained as if he should be. You know what I'm saying? Donovan did some great things in Philadelphia. I love Donovan as a quarterback, but like, I can only go so far with a guy who complains too much. You know what I mean? Like, constantly. And now he's more so known for that, for complaining too much. Jalen Hurts me. I keep saying that. Jalen Hurts really impressed me in the 4 games. Like, he did. And I've said this before, like, he showed me some Russell Wilsonisms, and, like, if he does shit like that in year 2, hands down. Like, Carson Wentz is better than Donovan McNabb. I'm sorry. Carson Wentz is better than Donovan McNabb. And even Donovan McNabb said it. So I don't like. Yeah. Donovan was great. Donovan was great for the Eagles during that time that the Eagles needed him. But like honestly, like the defense carried those teams. The defense carried those teams more than anything. So like Donovan walked into a good defense, and then it continued, and then like we couldn't get just think about that. Like we went to the Super Bowl one time out of all those years that we made it to the NFC Championship game. Why? Oh, because the Carolina Panthers were able to shut the offense down. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to shut the Eagles offense down. Like, it wasn't Andy Reid's fault, because Andy Reid has won a Super Bowl in Kansas City. Andy Reid went to the Super Bowl back-to-back times. And so it wasn't, or not back-to-back times, but like twice in 3 years. So like it wasn't Andy's fault. And here's the thing too, is like if Donovan McNabb is as good as Donovan McNabb thought he was, then a quarterback who thinks he's that great and is that great finds different ways to get over the fact that the offense is stagnant. We see it all the time. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning did it. Patrick Mahomes does it. You know what I'm saying? So like Carson Wentz did it. Carson Wentz continued to like Carson Wentz played with undrafted wide receivers over the last 2 years, 3 years. Like, and bad offensive lines. Like Donovan McNabb had a fucking stellar offensive line who was just immovable. Sean Andrews, Jordan Runyon, Trey Thomas, like Todd Hermans, you know what I mean? Like Jamal Jackson. And before that, it was Hank Fraley. So like, I'm sorry. I really don't have much love left for Donovan. I really don't. I just don't. But getting back to the team, like, yeah, I'm really excited about our running back room. I think there's gonna be some tough decisions that are gonna be made there. And obviously we know that Kenny Gainwell is gonna make the team. That's not a question. Boston Scott could be the odd man out. Jordan Howard could be the odd man out. Kerryon Johnson could be the odd man out. I've seen some reports lately that people are getting excited about Adrian Killens. And he could make a push. I don't think so, but like he could, I guess, if he wanted to. And so as far as that's concerned, like, okay, so the running back room looks good. And then you have Devontae Smith and you have Jalen Reagor going to year 2, which I'm still not, on board with Jalen Reagor yet. Like, I have to see some big things. Travis Fulgham, like, I want to see get better. And I think he'll develop. So like, I mean, honestly, King, like, there are a lot of questions, but like on offense, everything is looking positive. Dallas Goedert is going to be the starter for the first time. So that's exciting. It's defense. Defense is where the questions are. Like all of the questions are on the defense. They really are. Like, can Eric Wilson and Anthony Harris, like, can they come in and actually be what we want them to be? Can Alex Singleton make that step into year 2? And who's the outside linebacker going to be? I really wish it were Patrick Johnson, just because I love watching players develop, and like I like Patrick Johnson the second. But is it going to be him or Jannard Avery? How is rookie defensive tackle Milton Williams going to do? How is Marlon Tupulotu gonna do? Fletcher Cox, I don't think is gonna I think Fletcher Cox is going to regress this year. You know what I mean? So Brandon Graham, like he's getting old. Like his regression is impending. I really wish it weren't the case, but players start to regress as they get older. Big Play says I miss controversial DB. Yeah. We'll get back there. Big Play said I never liked McNabb's attitude. As good as he was, he cost us the Super Bowl, and Terrell Owens rallied like a champ in the Super Bowl, especially having 100+ yards on a broken leg. Exactly. Yeah, without T.O. in that game, like I feel like we would have been absolutely shut down. Really. And that was a tough Patriots team, too. That was a tough Patriots team. Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, fucking Corey Dillon, Deion Branch, David Givens. Damn. But I really hope, and the other player I'm really excited for on the Eagles, or at least I'm excited because I want to see him progress, is and earn some sort of like role in the Eagles starting defense, is Jacoby Stevens. You know what I mean? Big Play says, Jesus Christ, we would have gotten our asses handed to us if T.O. didn't play. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Big Play says, see, that's why I like T.O., because even with shit talking a lot, he actually backed up his talk. Yeah. Yeah, he did. And that's why I like, I honestly think it was Donovan who tore that fucking relationship apart. I believe T.O. I really do. I do not believe Donovan when it comes to that feud. I do believe T.O. I really do. And he went on undisputed. He went on undisputed and talked about it too. How Donovan told him to shut the fuck up in a practice or something like that, or maybe it was in the huddle. And I think that's when things ended. That's what T.O. said. Cap. What about it? What about it, King? But with all this said, guys, yeah, according to T.O. And I believe it too. This man, Donovan McNabb, literally went out drinking before the biggest game of his life. Yep. Yeah, I mean, look what Andy Reid's doing in Kansas City. You know what I mean? Like if Donovan were the player, like Andy Reid knew how to put a good team together. He really did. T.O. loves Big Red to this day. You know what I mean? So I think it had a lot to do. We're going back to that point in time. I think it had a lot to do with Donovan's ego. I mean, they both had huge egos, but Donovan, they didn't mesh well. They meshed well for about half the season, according to T.O. But I don't want to talk about this topic as if I have any regrets or misses there, because like I just don't. So But with that said, guys, this is DB talking now. DB talking Birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. I promise you, I can tell that I've been a little bit off with my streams lately, but I promise you, I will get back to being more thorough as best as I can. One love, guys. King Miro, Big Play Slay, Jalen Hurts me. I appreciate you guys joining in today. Let's look forward to a great stream tomorrow, guys, or maybe even later this evening. We'll see. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. One love, guys. This is DB talking now. DB talking Birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds, baby.